reimbursement side?
Yep. So when you first log in, you'll have a menu that will look very similar to the menu that's up here on the left-hand side. Um, it'll give you some different options of things that you can look at. As an employer, you do have some access as far as viewing the employee information. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a group here that we can look at. And I'll show you what you would see from the employer side. So this would be all of the employee demographic information. There are a few changes within the demographic information that you are able to change, such as you could change an address, you could add or update an email address. Our system does not allow for you to do your own adds and terminations. Those would still have to come through me, but you would be able to do a small amount of updating within here. You can also order cards if someone needed a new benefit card, or if they had a spouse that needed a card, you would be able to come in and order that for them. You'll be able to see all of their active accounts that they have. FSA, HSA, HRA, parking and transit. You can see any history that they may have as far as their claims activity. There's nothing, this is a beta account that we're in, so there's nothing live in here, but you would be able to see any of their data. We also have reporting features, where normally how we do reporting is that we schedule our reports so they come to the employer group on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis, depending on what it is that the group needs. However, you also can go in at any time and run any kind of ad hoc report that you may need to run if something comes up. So you would be able to come in here. The transactions section is going to be where you would look at any kind of like claims history, like deposit logs for any kind of FSA or HSA account. We have the enrollee account balance report, which is going to give you year-to-date contributions and balances for all of the employees. The enrolled participants report will give a little bit more detail as far as if they have dependents enrolled, dates of birth, stuff like that. Our settlement reports. Our most popular settlement report is the bank transaction reconciliation report. And we find that groups like this report best because it is the most accurate report to match up line for line with their banking account. So when the employees are out there swiping those cards, this report is the most accurate that you could put up against your bank account and see line for line as all of those transactions come out. You can also see the plan details. So it looks like this plan has an FSA, an HSA, and parking and transit. There's not really any availability within the employer portal to make any changes or corrections. Within this section, that would be something that we would have to do on our end.
And then, Courtney, just to clarify, you had said this is a beta account, but beta, this means it's not a live active account. Obviously, due to privacy laws, we can't show you an actual, client's
Correct.
account. So this is kind of a dummy account that we set up for demonstration purposes. So it's not going to necessarily, unfortunately, have all the systems that Courtney's talking about or the reports, because it is a kind of a dummy system just to show for demonstrations.
Correct. Also, at the employer level, if you have an HSA account, you would be allowed to do your own HSA contributions to that account using our contribution manager. This is a feature that a lot of our groups like because they prefer to do all of their own HSA contributions. So you come in here, pick your date, put in the employee amounts, employer amounts, and then you could load the file. We also have, if you just wanted to drag and drop a file, we could go in here and you could put all of your contribution information into a spreadsheet, and then you could just change the spreadsheet every time you have a contribution that goes in, and you can just kind of drag and drop it into the system if you don't want to go through the manual of actually typing in every single one of the amounts for all of the employees. Let's see what else I wanted to show you today. So you also, if there's any changes within like the employer setup, you would be able, like, say that the employer itself, like the group moved, you would be able to come in here and update like street address, email address, phone number. If you had a new contact at the group, you could come in here and update the contact information, all of that. If you had to add, divisions or update divisions, classes, anything like that, you have access to come in here and do that. You also have access to some HSA reports. If the plan is an HSA report, you can come in and run the payroll reconciliation report, which will, in date range, go through and show you all of the contributions into the account for the plan year. Dependent accounts. If we had an account that had dependents associated with it, you could come in and make any kind of change to the dependent account as far as address, anything like that. Ironically, you don't have the ability to terminate an employee, but you do have the ability to terminate a dependent. So we could come in here as the employer group, you could come in here and terminate a dependent if you needed to. And I think as far as the employer level access goes, that wraps up what you would be able to do within the system. And we can grant access to as many different people on your team as we need to. There's not a limit as to how many employees can have access to the employer side.
Correct. And also any USA agent could have, and any Acrisure agency partner can have access to the system, or your staff can if you want it, or you don't have to if you don't want it.
Correct. Does anybody have any questions, or is there anything specific that you want to see?
There's
I have no
something,
questions.
as I say, I know we went through it pretty quick. Is there something